I want to just talk about a few little very practical, specific steps and distinctions to help you kind of figure out what to charge and how to begin to charge more or charge what you're worth. A fun little thing you can do is start with sort of the baseline wherever you are and raise the price in your mind, until it gets to the point where it feels, oh my God, that's crazy, that's way too high. Then lower it again, keep lowering it until you go, oh my God, that's just way too low. So it's either like, oh my God, that's crazy, you feel scared, you feel nervous, you lower it until you're like, oh my God, that feels terrible, I'm depressed, it's not worth it. And then start raising it again, now that you kind of feel that tension. And you want to get it right to the point where you feel the tension, where you feel the stretch, but not so far that you're going to pull a muscle. That's your growth point. That's your growth spot. So whatever that amount is, that's the place you start. And again, it's a stretch, so it's still going to bring stuff up. It's still not going to always feel comfortable. But that's how you know to identify what is that next level for me. And then you step into it and you ask and you negotiate. Now, one of the things when you're asking and when you're charging, one of the things that, again, practical tips, like my story of asking for that higher amount, and then I just shut up. Ask and shut up at first. Tell them what it cost and then shut up. Otherwise, if you have not fully integrated it, you're gonna talk them out of the deal. It's gonna be like, so my rate is $100 an hour, whatever, and then before they even get a chance to think about it, you're like, and the thing about it is because you get this and you get that. I know, $100 seems like a lot, but let me tell you, when I first started, and it's like 5 minutes later, they're like, oh God, I gotta go, or they're just like, I don't think so, because you've literally backpedaled and talked yourself out of it energetically, vibrationally, and literally. So once you take that step and you make that ask, be quiet. Allow them to receive it. Allow them to respond. And then if they don't accept it at that level, there's other things you can do which is beyond the scope of this particular training. But the one thing you don't want to do, you can have different set points, different price points, things like that based on the package or whatever, or if you're making an offer to a boss for a raise. But you don't want to start becoming a used car salesman. Oh, well, did I tell you, by the way, did I say it's $100 an hour? What I actually meant was $50 an hour, and I'm going to throw in this transistor radio, and, whatever the case may be, this little rubber duck. And you lose price integrity and really integrity. And so you want to have the courage of your conviction. You may have some different price points, but once you ask, you stand in that. And if you're negotiating a different package, you want to keep price integrity, which means if you're giving a little, you want to make it up over here. And what that does is even if you do lower your price and say, well, if you get a package of hours like this, it's going to cost less, then maybe you give them less on this side, or you require some deeper contribution on their part. In that way, you maintain integrity. And it's very, very key. Integrity means to be one within yourself, integral, integrated. And if you're not in integrity, you're serving two masters. And when you are serving two masters, it is a house divided. It has no structural integrity and it cannot stand. It'll collapse because there's not enough strength there. So you want to stand in that. And so it takes a little practice. The other final little piece I want to say about asking and charging is one little thing or little strategy to begin to confidently ask for what you're worth is look at whatever it is you're offering and begin to play with the offer, whether it's asking for a raise or charging a client, and work within yourself to organize this package or this offering until it starts to feel really good within you. If you're trying to charge $100 an hour, but inside you, when you look at what you're offering, you don't feel like it's worth it, it's gonna be very hard to make that claim or to make that request. But if you begin to look at it, and first of all, remember if you're hourly, you're not charging by the hour. It's not $100 for that 60 minutes. It's for the 10 years or whatever it took you and the thousands of dollars and hours that it took you to be able to deliver that hour of value. When a lawyer charges what they charge, it's not for the hour, it's for all the hours that it took to deliver an hour that's full of value. So remember that, and you start to think like that. You go, yeah, you know, I mean, I've spent 5 years or 10 years, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars, whatever it is, to be able to sit with a person for an hour and do this work, or to show up at my place of employment and do this job. Wow, I have tremendous value. And you start to feel the value you bring. And then when you say it's $100, you'll actually start to feel, wow, that's a great deal, you know, whatever it is. When you hit that point where you've raised your price and you're like, dang, this is a great deal for them. Because look at all that I bring, look at who I am, look at what I've done. They don't have to spend the 5 years, the 10 years and read all these books and all these programs. I've done all that for them. So I can deliver this hour or this program or whatever. You get it? Like with this isn't just a few little videos. This is 2 decades of my life, of in the laboratory of my own life, almost dying twice, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and 10,000 hours for me to talk to you like this with a level of authority and clarity and specificity that is hopefully delivering a lot of value to you. So that's the way you start to think about your own work. The other thing you can do is you can think in terms of, what else can I add to this offering that doesn't necessarily take a lot more time or cost a lot more on my part, but to them has a lot more value. And you just play with it. Again, it's beyond the scope of this to go into the whole way of how you do this, but as you play with it, you start to feel, you know what? I'm worth it. This is worth it. I can do this. And now you go and you ask, and you make that request, and you take that stand. You remember you're the source, they're the channel. You're giving them a chance to expand, to be a bigger channel, not just for you, but for everyone involved. And you turn that transactional relationship into a transformational one. You move from a zero-sum game or a zero-sum pie to an infinite-sum game where your exchange with that client has actually magnified the good for everyone. It hasn't taken away anything. It's actually expanded the pie for everyone. I'm getting chills when I think about that. Are you feeling this? Is this something pretty cool or what? Like, when you do this, you literally are expanding the pie rather than taking anything away. So again, don't wait to feel confident, comfortable, or to believe it. Do these little strategies we've talked about. Put together your offering, take the step, take the action. Step out on that invisible bridge and it will begin to appear beneath your feet.